Just my
Hi, Dr. Annie. Please, I couldn't hear you so well. There was a lot of feedback coming out, so I couldn't hear you at all.
Okay, what about now?
Please, it's better now.
Okay, so we are starting, and I've put on the recording. Can you check and see if you can see a red line, red dot signifies it's recording?
Yes, please.
All right, so
there's a red dot.
Yeah, okay. So today we are looking at speech acts. Remember the remarks I made on Saturday during the introduction. So we're saying I was, explaining last Saturday that the semester is divided into two. The first half is used to familiarize ourselves with certain terms, certain language terms, linguistic terms that will facilitate our training as critical thinkers or logicians. And then the first place to start is speech acts. So what are speech acts? Okay, so let's look at speech acts. I'm assessing this slide from the clouds, actually, not from my device. So when I want to go from one slide to the other, it might take some time. Okay, so now we have the next slide, speech acts. So you can see the speech act is an utterance that performs a certain function in language and communication. We perform speech acts when we ask a question, make a request, assert a proposition, make judgment, express an emotion, and so on. And then a speech act may be one word, a complete sentence, or an incomplete one. Okay, so let's look at the types. So from the previous slide, we can understand that a speech act is basically anything that comes out of a mouth that has a sound, a speech act. So whatever comes out of the mouth, even if it is O, is a speech act. The question is what type? What is the type of speech? And so we're looking at the types now. First of all, we have the interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence or interrogative. Interrogative sentence are what we normally call questions. Questions. They end in question mark. So any question is an interrogative sentence. The purpose of interrogative sentences is to solicit or require information from someone. Interrogative sentences cannot be true. Okay, so interrogative sentences or questions cannot be true or false. A question cannot be true or false. Okay, so examples. Do you have the keys to the door? How are you doing in the morning? How are you doing this morning? What is your name? So these are questions. They are called interrogatives or interrogative sentences. They cannot be true or false. Imperative sentences. Imperatives are sentences spoken to require someone to do something or undertake certain actions. So when you want someone to get something done, you want something to be done, what comes out of your mouth is called an imperative. An imperative. Of course, you know what imperative is. You've heard how imperatives are used in common language. It is imperative you do this. This one is imperative. It is imperative for us to do that. Go to the go for a press conference. So that's what imperative means. They include commands, instructions, directives, requests, and pleas. The command is used to offer authoritative or dictatorial order for something to be done. An instruction is a direction or order used to guide someone to do something. A directive is an authoritative order used to establish a policy, assign responsibilities, define a set of objectives, and delegate authority to someone to do something. A request is an act of asking politely or formally for something to be done. A plea is a supplication for a certain action or decision to be taken. A supplication, that's a plea. So these are different types, forms of imperatives. You can see that some are what we call the hard imperatives. Some are the soft ones. So imperatives range in tone, ranging from the strong to the or let's say ranging from the hard to the soft imperatives. You can see the hardest ones are the commands and directives. The softest ones are the requests and the pleas. So let's look at examples of imperatives. Clear this desk by tomorrow. Please water the plants. Drive to the junction and turn right. Do not turn over the next page until you are told to do so. Answer only one question from this section. Slow down, men at work. Please tie my shoes. Open your mouth. All these sentences are spoken to get someone to do something. They are spoken for an action to be taken. Let's look at declaratives. Declarative sentences. These are sentences that convey information. Convey information. So you can see this is different from imperatives and interrogatives. Declaratives are spoken to convey information. They can therefore be true or false. So when you are conveying information, you can be accused or charged for being true or false. Declarative sentences are spoken to make a statement. They end in period. So of course, others end in period too, except the interrogatives. In logic, declarative sentences are called propositions. Propositions. Declarative sentences are called prepositions. You'll be seeing this word a whole lot if you are studying further in logic. Now, declaratives include the following: factual statements, value judgments, definitions, and arguments. So you have 4 of them: factual statements, value judgments, definitions, and arguments. So someone raised his hand. Okay, so Elton raised his hand. Elton, do you have a question?
No, sir, it's a mistake.
Okay, that's
Sir,
fine.
please, it's a mistake.
All right, I'm checking to see if there's anyone in the lobby. Okay, there's no one in the lobby. Let me mute everyone and go back to this. All right, 4 kinds of declaratives. You have factual statements, value judgments, definitions, and arguments. You're going to be seeing more of these 4. Factual statements. A factual statement. Okay, if you raise your hand, bring it down. We're going to attend to you when we're done with this section. Factual statements. A factual statement or a statement of fact is an expression that conveys information about the state of affairs in the external world. An expression that conveys information about the state of affairs in the external world. It is true if it conveys accurate information about facts, and false if the factual information is incomplete, inaccurate. Factual statements, statements about facts. State of affairs in the external world, in other words, are facts. Example, grass is green, snow is white. That man is the current provost of the College of Arts and Culture. These are factual statements. You can disprove them by doing what? By providing the facts. If you provide the fact, and the fact shows grass is not green, then you've disproved it. If the fact if you provided show that snow is not white, then you've disproved it. If you provide the facts and the man we're talking about is not the current provost of the College of Arts and Culture, then you have disproved the factual statements. You disprove factual statements by verification, verifying. And to verify is to go and check the facts. Definitions. Definitions are sentences spoken to convey information about the meaning of a word or words. Sentences spoken to convey information about the meaning of a word or words. Examples of definitions include the following. A lion is a large carnivorous feline mammal of Africa and Northwest India, having a short, tawny coat, a tufted tail, and in the male, a heavy mane around the neck and shoulders. So this is a definition. A definition essentially provides information about the meaning of a word or words. Meaning, so just bear it in mind that providing meaning is the function of a definition. A bed is a piece of furniture upon which or within which a person sleeps, rests, or stays when not well. Okay, so that's for definitions. Value judgment. A value judgment or statement is a claim about something's moral, practical, and aesthetic value or suitability. A claim about something's moral, practical, or aesthetic value or suitability. Value. The value statement is a claim about value. A claim about value. Whether the value is in a moral form or a non-moral form, which is, it could be a practical form, an aesthetic form. Value judgments do not describe the world like factual statements do. Rather, value judgments prescribe certain attitudes and behaviors towards the world. They are concerned with prescribing how the world ought to be rather than describing how the world actually is. Someone is raising their hands. So let's see. Vera is raising her hand. Vera, what is the problem? Okay, let's move on. All right, let me mute everyone and let's continue. Okay, so value statements or value judgments are claims about values. Now let's see the kinds of values. Example, the following expressions involve value claims. That is right, that is wrong. Michael is a good man. Jezebel has no conscience. These are values. Right and wrong are values. Different points in a value. Being a good man is something of value. Having no conscience is something at the low scale of a value system. So two types of value judgments. We have moral and non-moral value judgments. Now, the moral value judgments are claims about something's moral suitability or otherwise. So moral value judgments, claims about something's moral suitability or otherwise. Examples. Abortion is evil. That's a moral value judgment. Do not commit adultery. Do not insult your spouse. These value judgments are moral in nature. non-moral. The non-moral value judgments are claims about something's practical Okay, so we're saying that moral judgments are, claims about something's moral suitability. But what about the non-moral ones? So the non-moral value judgments are claims about something's practical or aesthetic suitability otherwise. So if a value is non-moral, then that value is either practical or aesthetic. So non-moral values are two types, either practical or aesthetic. If it is practical, then it's either a utility value, an efficiency value, mostly utility values like efficiency, durability, strength. Those things are practical values. Examples. Fori is an excellent student. That shirt is too tight on you. That car is beautiful. So the first two are practical value. Excellency is a practical value, being excellent. And then being too tight is a practical value, because if something is too tight, then it doesn't allow you to be physically efficient. It doesn't allow you freedom of movement. So that's an issue of practical value, being too tight. And then being beautiful is an aesthetic value. It's aesthetic. So the first two are practical values. The last one is an aesthetic value. Then we have emotive expressions. Emotive expressions. Emotive expressions are sentences that express feelings. Sentences that express feelings. Emotive expressions that show strong feeling may often end in exclamation mark, but this is not always the case for all emotive expressions. Examples of emotive expressions include, I love that guy, I hate how she dresses, we hope you win the tournament, hallelujah. These are emotive expressions. Expressions of feelings. These are all expressions of feelings. Love is a feeling. Hatred is a feeling. Hope is a feeling. Hallelujah is a feeling as well, or a state of the mind. Sentence fragments. Sentence fragments. Okay. Some people are waiting in the lobby. Okay, sentence fragments. So sentence fragments are incomplete sentences lacking either noun or verb. Sometimes sentence fragments act as signposts to show direction or to advertise a product. Examples of sentence fragments include the following: Desmond for Parliament, yam with sauce, your dream house. So incomplete sentences. Incomplete sentences. So sentence fragments are incomplete sentences lacking either noun or verb. So, a little exercise. Rewrite the following emotive expressions as value statements. Rewrite the following emotive expressions as value statements. What a beautiful lady. That's an emotive expression. What a beautiful lady. Now rewrite it as a value statement. Someone should do that. To anybody, please answer that right away. What a beautiful lady. Rewrite it as a value statement. Someone sang, is that Vera's hand has been raised for some time. Marvel Obeng, your hand is raised, and then Tete Abigail. So who wants to answer, please?
So please, mine is a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It said the sentence fragment. Please, is it similar to what we call dependent clause?
You mentioned something like clause.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, what do you call it again? Clause?
Yes, dependent clause.
Dependent clause. I wouldn't know for dependent clause, but what I know is that a clause is sometimes a clause is part of a larger sentence. A clause could also be a complete sentence if it were to stand on its own. A clause could have nouns and verbs. But why it is normally called a clause is that it was made part of another sentence. Sometimes you can infuse a sentence in another sentence, and then the one infused is called a clause. But a sentence fragment is a collection of words that either lack a noun or a verb. So technically speaking, it cannot be a sentence. So there is a structural defect with a sentence fragment that doesn't necessarily apply to clauses. Whether the clause is dependent, I wouldn't know in what sense the clause is dependent. But what I know is that clauses could also be complete sentences.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Please, with the dependent and then the independent clause, you see, in a sentence, we can divide a sentence into two. That is independent clause and independent clause. The dependent clause is the one that doesn't make a complete thought.
Yeah, if being dependent means that it is lacking either a noun or a verb, then it is also an incomplete sentence.
Okay.
Okay, so rewrite the following emotive expressions. Let me see. Abigail, don't you want to answer the question? You have Johnson, and Ebenezer. So if you want to answer it, you open up your microphone. Your microphones are muted. You need to open it if you want to answer. Rewrite.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Give us the answer. There's a background noise which makes it necessary for me to mute everyone. So let me do the exercises myself. Rewrite the following emotive expressions as value judgments. What a beautiful lady. The lady is beautiful. How kind he is. That's an emotive expression. He is kind. That's a value judgment. What an extremely delightful journey. The journey is extremely delightful. That's a value judgment. The next exercise. Rewrite the imperative sentences below as interrogative sentences. Convert from imperative to interrogative. All right, shut your mouth up. Change it to an interrogative. Who wants to answer that? Felicity, do you want to answer? Or Christopher? Or Elton? Who wants to answer that?
Elton. Sir,
Yes.
will you shut your mouth?
Yeah, will you shut your mouth up? Remember to add the up.
Up.
So if you are converting, you must take note of all the words that were used. The second question. Answer the second question. Very good. Answer the third one. The third one. Okay, you want to answer, then go ahead. Answer it quickly.
Would you get up quickly and read your books?
Very good. So that's it. Just convert. You already know the structural composition of an interrogative, an imperative, a declarative, the factual statement, a value judgment, a definition. You already know the structural composition of those speech acts. So you should be able to convert from one type to the other. And usually you'll be given sentences that are convertible, that you can convert, not something that is not possible to convert. Okay, another exercise. Rewrite the following interrogative sentences as statements of fact from interrogatives to factual statements. Is Amma playing football? Answer it quickly, please.
Sir, Amma is playing football.
All right. Has he finished his homework?
He has finished his homework.
He has finished his homework.
Is the math coming up today?
The mark is coming up today.
The math.
Math is coming up today.
All right. So that's it with speech acts. So in summary, we saw different kinds of speech acts. We saw interrogatives, which are normally called questions. We saw imperatives, which are utterances to get people to do something. We saw declaratives, which are sentences spoken to provide information. And there are different kinds of information. Factual statements are spoken to provide information about facts. value judgments are spoken, sentences spoken to provide information or to make claims about values, to make value claims. Definitions are sentences spoken to provide information about meaning. And which other one? Then the sentence fragments, incomplete sentences that lack either noun or verb. And then the emotive expressions, sentences spoken just to express feelings, just to express feelings. So what we have next are definitions. I don't know if you want us to proceed with definitions. This is 3 minutes past 3. I was told that some of you have another class by 4. So do we proceed with definitions or do we postpone definitions to next week?
Next week.
The next week. Yeah, but actually we have questions.
Let's postpone to next week.
Next week.
Now.
So right now.
We should do it now.
Let's proceed.
Right?
So please, let's continue. Let's do it now.
Next week.
The
next week.
What I will do right now, what I will do is
We'll do it now. We'll do it now.
So please kindly post the slide for us.
Yeah, please, will you post the slide? Because we would like to post the slide for us.
Yeah, the problem is that we are not permitted to post the slides because of the textbooks, because textbooks have been written by certain people. They consider it a little bit undermining of the textbooks when you post the slides. I think there's a problem there. But nevertheless, the slides are part of the recording. So right now we are recording the class. If we retrieve the recording, then we send it to your resource. Whenever you are watching the recording, you will also decide, with the lecture. That's the most you get from the slides. Yeah, so I want to just take a look at the slides on definition. It is taking a few seconds to load from the clouds from G1 Drive. So we have less than an hour to 4 p.m. If we decide to discuss the definitions now, probably we'll discuss it in such a way that it will be done before 4 p.m. But that will give you enough time to do anything for your next class.
Actually, I'm not in the school. I have class. So I have to take her to the school.
So in the meantime, does anyone have any questions regarding the speech acts we've done? I can see that a number of people's hands are raised. Michael Aqua, do you have a question? Or Mohammed?
If definitions are true.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, was it Michael speaking? Or was it someone speaking before Michael? Something was said right now, but I didn't hear it clearly. Can you repeat it so that I can attend to it?
If definitions are true,
Yeah, so we're yet to do the definitions, but I can say right now that definitions are judged according to their accuracy, not according to their, not according to whether they are true, but but how accurately they define the object. How accurately they define the object. When you see the definition of a lion, the question is how accurately the definition defines the lion. So they are judged in terms of accuracy. And we're going to see different forms of inaccuracies. That is, different ways in which definitions could be inaccurate. Unfortunately, the slides are taken to, the definition slide is taken to good. By this time, then the internet is getting more stressful. So probably, and of course, lots of time. This is
I have a question.
Class until next week,
Please,
so that you have enough time to
declarative. Please, I have a question.
Yeah, you have a question. Go ahead quickly.
Please, is declarative sentence the same as proposition?
Come again. What is the same as proposition? Declaratives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so declaratives are propositions. Declaratives are propositions.
Okay.
Hello,
So I'm
sir.
waiting. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, please, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do. It's called Dr. Emmanuel Annie. You just use your search.
Dr. Emmanuel.
Yeah, Dr. Emmanuel Annie, A-N-I.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, just use your YouTube to search it, and you find all the lectures on critical thinking topics there over the. Okay, so I'm waiting to stop the recording. I'm gonna stop the recording right now. Once I stop the recording, then we can all start leaving.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Please, can I ask a question?